The meeting come to order. Please rise for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Village Board meeting of September 23rd, 2024. Roll call, please.
Stacy? Thierry?
Here.
Kraus?
Here.
Gardner?
Here.
Weisbach? Diachenko?
Here.
In your packet, you have the minutes for the last meeting of September 9th. Does anyone have any corrections or changes? If not, can we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Thierry?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Diachenko?
Yes.
Does anyone from the audience wish to address the board? All right, village clerk's report.
I went to the municipal league convention from Thursday until Saturday, and they had a lot of really interesting sessions. And it's at a whole new hotel now, which is a whole new layout. Kind of got lost a few times in the hotel. But it was very good. I attended a legislative update with Anthony DeLuca and Senator Miliband. They said that the legislature is now looking at online gaming to bring in more revenue in the state of Illinois.
Interesting.
Because they need to balance their budget again, I guess. They're also considering revamping the IMRF Tier 2 program because of the limited benefits that are offered and the inequities compared to Tier 1. They've also gotten a lot of pushback because the Tier 2 has a lot less benefits than Tier 1. The state legislature has a lot of turnover of their members, just like every other employer. It said that their members are much more divided than they've ever been before. It said the far right's much farther right and the far left's much farther left. There was a really long session, I'll try not to bore you too much, on PFAS, because I know that,
Keep going.
do you know what those are?
I'm intrigued.
PFAS in drinking water. They're synthetic chemicals that don't break down. They originated with firefighting foams, and they bring strength and durability and stability to different products and are used in a lot of everyday products like automotive, medical supply, electronics, waterproofing products, yoga pants, pizza boxes and nonstick cookware, just to name a few, but there's a lot more than that in it. And the EPA is now suggesting these products being incinerated are getting into the air, and they also come from landfill leachate, pesticides, and other sources that are going into our groundwater. Then PFAS, there's a PFAS and a PFOS, which are just different links in the chemical chain or something, are linked to a lot of different health conditions, and the EPA is announcing limits to the PFAS compounds, and they're going to start requiring water systems to start testing and reporting violations to it. These testing, we're actually going to be testing for 1 to 10 parts per trillion is what they're going to be looking at. And it's going to be very expensive for municipalities once it gets to that point. And they're probably going to want us to test the water and then the wastewater afterwards too. The equipment, the different kinds of things are coming up to do it are these big tanks, and you're going to need like 8 tanks and all these things to try and do it. And these things do not break down, so it is going to be a very expensive thing to do.
You guessing it's going to be an unfunded mandate by the
Yes,
state?
I'm sure. Well, there's going to be grants and things available, but the thing that got me is to be able to actually sample the test. You know, you go get a water sample. To be able to do that, you cannot wear clothing or boots that contain Gore-Tex. Wear new nitrile gloves. Wet weather gear should only be made of polyurethane or polyvinyl chloride. Safety boots have to be of polyurethane or PVC. You can't be wearing any materials using Tyvek or PTFE, also known as Teflon, because Teflon is one of the big PFAS things. You cannot use fabric softener on clothing that will be worn in the field. You can't use cosmetics, moisturizers, hand cream, or other related products in the morning of sampling. You can't use sunscreen, insect repellent, no food or drink allowed. Field equipment must not contain Teflon, And all sampling materials must be made from stainless steel, acetate, or silicone polypropylene containers.
So naked with a pan.
Yeah, pretty much.
Any volunteers?
It's ridiculous.
For at least
It's
a couple
like,
days.
so it is gonna be a very
Stay away from the
expensive
wastewater treatment plant
process,
the day of testing.
but they're gonna start requiring us by 2027 to start testing for this.
Jeez.
So good luck with that. There also there was a session about the statewide building codes that need to be adopted by January 1st of 2025. And they won't be able to be any older than one of the last two code updates. The standard building codes were initiated, to try and standardize the building codes in Illinois was initiated actually by FEMA. So future commercial and housing can survive disasters and extreme weather events, since global warming is creating a lot of those issues these days. A lot of the municipalities in the session were on older codes, just like we have been for so long, and are planning to opt out of the residential sprinkler requirements due to the increased cost and the lack of, be able to have affordable housing as it is now. So those are just some very interesting things that I found there. They had some really good sessions. That's it.
Well, thank you. All right, under my report, as a second reminder, I brought this up at the last meeting 2 weeks ago. ComEd is out in the neighborhoods trimming trees. They will be out over the next 90 days, so if you see Asplund trucks, I believe they're big orange trucks, that is not the Village of Beecher, that is ComEd, and they have their own rules for how they trim, and we have nothing to do with that. On the agenda is moving the date of the October 14th Village Board meeting due to the Columbus Day holiday. Is that one, I know we could either cancel it or move it. Do we, Jeanette, pretty much have to do bills at like the first meeting of the month? Should we just move it to the Tuesday?
Did you have some things that needed to be considered, Matt?
Yeah, it would just be the asphalt bids.
He's in the process of getting asphalt bids, and we probably need them by the next meeting. We also haven't looked at the due date, but the credit card bill is gonna be coming due. And I don't know exactly what the due date is gonna be, but it's probably gonna be on the 15th or the 17th.
Yeah.
So we
Well,
probably will have to have it.
Yeah, we could move it to the next day, to the
Yeah.
15th,
Yeah.
if everyone is able. All right, would someone like to make a motion to move the date of the October 14th Village Board meeting to October 15th?
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, roll call.
Diachenko,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Okay, that's my report. Finance and Administration Committee, Trustee Kraus.
Consider a motion approving the bills and payroll in the amount of $114,847.63.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call.
Terry,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Diachenko.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay. Public Buildings and Properties, Parks and Recreation Committee, actually, that's for Trustee DeChenko.
Yeah, I don't have anything to report at this time.
Alrighty. Planning, Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Gardner.
Thank you. Discussion and consideration of Second Amendment of Professional Services Agreement between Village of Beecher and Safeco, Illinois. This amendment would add zoning services as needed in an amount of $95 an hour. At this time, the intent is to have Safeco review and verify spot surveys for new homes. I guess my only question would be, how long would it take them to do one spot survey?
Yeah, I guess I didn't ask that. I would have to double check. I couldn't imagine it taking more than 2 hours, but, because it's verifying top of foundation and setbacks, so I would imagine it's gonna be.
And it's not something we can
And that-
pass along at this point.
Yeah, and that's not something that, we can pass along because of the moratorium, so it'll be at our cost.
I would hope there's probably not gonna be a ton of them that's gonna, but there could be some.
Well, just the new homes, obviously, where the foundations work.
So do we need a motion for this?
For,
Yes.
just to sign the agreement, yes. amendment to the original agreement.
I say authorize the president to, is it the president and clerk that needs to sign it?
The president, yes.
Yeah, authorize the president to sign the professional services agreement.
Yeah, I'll make a motion for the president to sign the professional services agreement between the Village of Beecher and Safeville of Illinois.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion?
Well, this will just go along with the current terms, like the dates. So this will end when they
Yes,
renew every
it's just,
state bill.
yeah.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Roll call?
Diachenko?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
All right, consider an ordinance granting a special use permit for 759 West Indiana Avenue under the zoning ordinance of the Village of Beecher to allow a U-Haul rental business in a B1 historic downtown district. I know we had some issues with getting his, I would guess, the tobacco and the vape side of the business permitted properly, and he is going through the process for that.
So basically, this is just to,
This is
Allow
just-
the,
Yes.
to allow the
for
U-Haul.
that was approved before, but then
Right.
drafted the ordinance, so, yeah.
Do we have an ordinance number on that?
Yep, 1411.
All right, I'll make a motion approving ordinance 1411, granting a special use permit for 759 West Indiana Avenue under the zoning ordinance of the Village of Beecher to allow U-Haul rental business in a B1 historic downtown district.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call?
Terry?
No.
Kraus?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Diachenko?
Yes.
And the next Planning and Zoning Commission meeting is on Thursday, September 26th at 7 p.m. here at Village Hall. That concludes my report.
All right. Public Safety Committee, trustee Thierry.
I don't have anything to present here.
All righty. Public Works Committee, trustee Gardner.
Water
Pause to
billing-
say, oh, okay, who's here?
Water billing register report for July and August 2024 is enclosed for your review. That concludes that report.
All right. And Economic Development Community Relations Committee, the co-chair is trustee Diachenko. And luckily for you,
Yeah, I don't have anything to report at this time on that.
all righty. And I'm not sure, does somebody want to give an update on the police building? I know we got a bit of an update, I don't know, yeah.
So, they have most of the trusses in place for the roof, and they expect the roof, the actual boards and the roofing material to be put on in October, which means once they have it under roof, there's a much better chance of finishing it on time, because then they're gonna be out of the elements. But, all the brickwork was done a couple weeks ago, with the exception of the east side of the building, and they're waiting for something with the way the truss is going before they could finish that. I think they're finishing that this week. And when they finish that, they can finish the rest of the roof. So once the roof is done, then we're in really good shape. So I believe, because of the great weather we've had the last 2 weeks or so, that they're ahead of schedule. So things are going really good with the police station. They were able to extend the community room by 3 feet. So to me, that 3 feet was a lot, because the community room had to be downsized after our refiguring of the building itself. So get an additional, I tried to get them 6 feet out of it, but like me and Charity were there, and it didn't work too well, so, because they would have been too cramped in the room where they have all the mechanical stuff. But all in all, it's looking really good. I really, really like the building. When we saw the footprint, when the footings were in, I mean, you all probably thought it would look really small, so did I. Like, what the heck? But when when the walls are up now, it really looks nice.
It does look
It's-
a lot
Mhm,
bigger.
yeah,
And it's very acceptable, I really, you know, we went from 3 garages to 2, a sally port and a garage, and, it's okay. We're gonna be okay there. I really like it, I think it's coming along really well.
do they have an actual projected completion date?
April,
April, okay.
and it may be done, but, you know, there's so many variables, whether the contractors are available. This is not a big job for a lot of contractors, so they're not gonna jump on our
Right.
building when they can get a better, bigger job, but they have been jumping on our building. I mean, they're there all the time, and, I couldn't be happier with the performance of the contractors so far.
Cool. Alrighty, any old business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board?
I got 2 things. Final brush collection day will be Tuesday, October 1st, and leaf pickup should begin the week of October 14th.
Okay. Guess what? No executive session. Might be first. All right, if there's nothing else, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second?
Roll call.
DeChenko,
Yes.
Weisbaum, Gardner,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.